Good morning, everybody. This is Pauline Chung. I'm with the San Mateo Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing. I'm honored to welcome Mike Aguilera today, and he's an international speaker. He's CEO of his company, Aguilera and Associates, and he's a communication expert, specializing in subconscious communication techniques and rapport building skills for business and leadership. His topic will be virtuous selling, how to become more effective and persuasive during video and phone calls. And he has something about a 90-second connection and under 90 seconds or less. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike to provide more information. And it sounds like this could be an interactive conversation.
Yes, as much as I can. If not, if there's no questions or feedback or any clarification needed, then I'll cover as much as I can, and maybe the last couple of minutes, any questions. And also, if I don't cover anything on this call, you can meaning that I didn't clarify well enough because of time, you're invited to reach out to me, send me an email or contact me. We'll set up a phone call. And also, just as an extra, I guess, service or bonus to your help, I'll also include a free, no-cost, 30-minute, no-obligation coaching session. So if there's something specific I didn't cover that you want to have a chat with, because right now I'm actually not taking on any coaching clients, so that's why it's no cost, no obligation. However, I know I have a limited amount of time and I want to help as many people as I can. And if I can help you, then reach out to me. We'll have this conversation in regards to anything specific that you're having, any challenges or any breakthroughs that you're looking for, or something that you want me to kind of expand or embellish on in regards to what I covered or maybe I missed on. So thank you, Pauline, and thanks everyone for being here. And yes, I've been doing presentations and communication skills for over 20 years internationally. I've been in London, Germany, Mexico, throughout the United States. And a lot of the work I also do is here in the Bay Area. Cisco, Intel, IBM have brought me in to do communications for leadership and business development. And a lot of I've also done for many business owners. And I'm going to be covering in this session communication skills a lot, primarily on Zoom or phone calls, since that's predominantly what's going on right now. And you want to have and do certain specific things so that you connect with people, so that it's not just a talking head, and also the words you use, your voice, and you are actually branding yourself, or the way you communicate is part of your brand. Are you speaking as an authority? Are you speaking as a salesperson? Are you speaking just, I mean, you can talk and speak persuasively, and you can talk and speak as a professional using the right words, the right grammar. However, the right questions and the right influence is different in regards to getting more yeses. And so that's what I'm going to be covering as much as I can. The mindset, how to create instant rapport on the phone. And then as Brian, I'll talk in regards to how to engage people and possibly get back past the so-called gatekeeper, the receptionist. And it's kind of challenging with the receptionist because you don't have much time to create rapport or to create trust. However, there are some key things you can do, and that I'll cover on that. And as we go through this, I'll ask if there's any questions, if this makes sense, and if you need me to embellish, then I will. And so the foundation of training that I'm certified in, that I've gone through as a certified as a practitioner, master practitioner, and then a trainer, is in NLP, neuro-linguistics programming. Is anyone in the group here familiar with NLP, neuro-linguistics programming? Okay, it's all right. You've probably been exposed to it and you're not aware that Tony Robbins, the foundation of his training, is based on NLP. And NLP is modeled after therapists that were creating amazing change in people, helping them overcome phobias, bad habits, create breakthroughs. And so there's elements of NLP based on how to guide a client through a transition and transformation in their life. And there's also elements of NLP that I specialize in, that I've been focusing on, is more of the communication, the words you're using, the questions you're asking, reading your clients, and then understanding the meaning behind their answers. And then from that, having a conversation that can influence them to take change. And so, as Pauline mentioned, some of that is called subconscious communication, meaning the way you move, your voice, and the words you use creates an intuition of feeling in that person, just like you have an intuition of feeling about someone that you're meeting. Do you have a good sensation of feeling that, okay, this is a nice person, a professional, I trust them, or not? And there's subtle things you can do over the phone and on Zoom that will help you to be more influential, at least to get engagement. And I'll cover that. And a lot of this also that I'll cover will apply in person. So I'll explain what it is, and then I'll explain you can do this in person as well. Some of it on video, it may not be as directly transferable. And so I've been doing this for about 20 years. I also, as Pauline mentioned, the title, part of the title is also part of my title of my book, Connect with Anyone in 90 Seconds or Less. So if anyone wants to search on that on Amazon, it's on there. It's also written in different languages, and working on some new material right now as well. And so let me jump right into it. First, the mindset. The mindset to me is the foundation, and I do coaching with top executives, I do coaching with salespeople, and no matter what level it seems like that I'm working with, the mindset is also a key factor in regards to either creating rapport or having the confidence and projecting confidence or warmth, so people open up to you. So I'm just going to cover some key elements. There's a lot more. However, these are some key elements because the foundation of your mindset impacts the way you are perceived by others, the way what you project. So a couple of key elements on the mindset. One is your expectations. So when you're going to make a call, either phone call, say to a receptionist or to a client, or to set up an appointment, phone or even on Zoom, expect that you're going to like them. This is called assuming rapport, and expect they're going to be okay and possibly like you. Most people, when they get on this call or get on a Zoom call or call somebody, think, okay, I hope they're going to be nice. They're already doubting me. I hope this goes okay. Yeah, they're probably going to be annoyed, or they're probably going to hang up on me. Whatever, you're already having this negative self-talk. So stop it, preempt it. Just think, okay, this is going to be a great call. I know I'm going to like them. And when you do that, you start to project warmth and confidence in that phone call, because if you're doubting that you're going to like them, you're going to talk with hesitation, and they're going to sense, okay, this person is just here to annoy me or get something from me. So the mindset and the expectation is also part of that phrase, the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you expect the call to go bad, it will go bad, because you will influence and impact the call by your voice, your words, the questions you ask, the way you respond. Do you get defensive? And it can be very subtle. However, as I mentioned, it's that intuition. People can pick things up at an unconscious, subconscious level of, I don't know why, I just didn't get a good feeling about this person. So I'm going to say, I'm going to think about it, or no, or I'll get back to you. So first off, expect that you're going to like that person. Just project that warmth, and you'll project confidence as well. The other thing in regards to projecting confidence and expectations is expect to get a yes. Because if you're thinking, oh, I hope this goes well, and I'm going to talk about dangerous words, and I'm going to talk about some key things on video. However, expecting to get a yes, and if you do, because when you expect a yes, back to that self-fulfilling prophet, you talk with certainty that, yes, I'm the right person to help you, meaning you're thinking that, yes, my product or service can do tremendous things for you, can really help your business. And when you have that mindset, you talk differently. And also certain words I'll cover in regards to, you start to talk with presuppositions. Presuppositions mean you're already presupposing they're going to be your client, because you're talking to them as if, hey, when we help you, when you're using our product, when we're doing your equipment update, whatever it is, not if, it's when. You're already talking as if I'm the right person to help you. So when you talk that way, people start to get this, what's called priming effect, a train of thought of, okay, this is a person that I feel comfortable, I'm sensing them, that I can work with. And so the words you use, and just projecting that, yes, I'm the right person to help. Yes, I'm going to get a yes. So those are some key elements. There's a lot more on the mindset. I wanted to cover at least as much as I can on that. Does that make sense as I ask everyone to everyone in regards to the mindset? Okay. And that's another tip I'll share with you, what I just did right now. That's called calibrating, meaning asking your client periodically throughout your conversation, do you follow me? Does that make sense? Because if you're talking, and you don't ask them, does that make sense? Or do you follow me? They may be looking back at something you said a minute ago that they weren't sure about. And you're still talking about how great your service, your features and benefits. And the format that I do in NLP selling, it's called conversational selling. So it's more of a conversation instead of just a presentation of features and benefits. It's engagement, questions, and then guiding them from one doorway opening to another, to eventually they get to, yes, I want your help, or what's next, or you can ask a series of questions that will at least guide them to ask that. And so just calibrating, just asking periodically. Does that make sense? Do you follow me? Is that okay with you? That way it's a conversation for one, and you're calibrating, and calibrating means to take a measurement. Did they shift from being just sitting there to, did they move back? And you notice that because if you're calibrating and they move back and you say, hey, you have a question on what I just said? Does that make sense? So calibrating is important to make sure your message is on track and that you're having a conversation. So that's why I asked, does that make sense to everybody? Does that make sense to you guys? Good. Now, it's a rapport on the phone and same thing on video. Once you have the mindset, in NLP, there's a term called matching and mirroring, and you might have heard it in different sales programs. And what I suggest in regards to matching and mirroring when I'm coaching clients and working with groups and teams is just think about connecting and being in harmony with the other person. In rapport, the elements that I tell people to do is simply make the other person feel comfortable. And not to the point where you're praising them and telling them how great they are. It's just when you match their energy and become in harmony with them. When I say match their energy, if someone is very slow talking or soft spoken, you talk a little slower and you speak a little softer, and you then become in harmony with them. There's a connection that you're not so different. You're not a fast talking salesperson. And so matching their energy, and you do this already naturally. It's just a matter of some people, when they think about it consciously, they think, okay, they're going to know I'm matching and mirroring them. And typically matching and mirroring means to, if they use a certain gesture, if they move their hand, when you're talking, you move your hand that the same way. You don't have to go to that level. I just say, just match their energy. And once you're in harmony, like a tuning fork, two tuning forks, then you can start to speak the way you normally do. So if you normally speak a little faster, you can speak a little faster and they will follow you. If you normally speak a little slower, you can slow down and they will follow you. So rapport is very powerful. And simply think about, what can I do to make them feel comfortable? And so if in regards to the phone or even on Zoom, match their voice is one of the quickest things you can do. If, as I mentioned, if they talk soft, you soften your voice. If they talk a little faster, you just speed up a little and burst. And there's what's called a tribal effect. You get a sense of, oh, this person's like me, or this person seems really familiar, versus not matching them at all. And so there's that, who is this person, what they're about. So just be flexible with your communication and just match their voice. If it's tonality, if it's a little higher pitch voice or a little lower pitch voice. If it's volume level, high, a little louder or a little softer. It's speed, if they speak a little faster or slower. So that's one key thing. And then with Brian, in regards to getting past the gatekeeper, once you match their voice, then a powerful word you can use is the word help. I'm not sure if you can help me on this. I'm looking for the executive in charge of IT or whatever it is, or the department. So just adding the word, I'm not sure if you can help me, or maybe you can help me, or can you help me? That word help, because usually a person at the reception area, in regards to personality styles, is a person that is helpful. They're supportive in that sense. And so you can use that word, it will trigger an emotion with them of wanting to be helpful. So you can either challenge them by saying, I don't know if you can help me with this. I'm looking to connect with the IT manager or the person in charge of IT. And that will at least open up the doorway of possibilities for them to say, oh yeah, well, let me think about that. But if you just go in there and say, hey, I'm Brian with so-and-so company, I'm looking to connect with the IT person, they're going to think, okay, I need to protect the IT person. And so you need to shift it around to make them feel as if they're a resource. So that's just one. There's other key elements, but projecting warmth that you're going to like them, that they're going to like you, that they're going to say yes, matching their voice, and then using that word help. Because again, that's based on more than likely the personality of that person wanting to be helpful, because that's why they're in that position of being a receptionist or someone in that state or that position. Does that make sense, Brian? Is that helpful, Brian?
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Okay,
does.
good, thank you. And so in regards to personality, yes, there's a lot of different personalities, and I have a program actually on how to communicate with different personalities, because knowing the personality style, if they're dominant, if they're influential, supportive, or cautious, it's good so that you're not shocked by how they respond. But it's more important to know, once you're not shocked, is how to influence them, how to talk to them. So a very supportive person, words like help are very influential to making having a conversation go in your way, or at least open to a conversation. So now let me jump into some dangerous words, and then I'll go into some do's and don'ts on video and also the phone. dangerous words. I just talked about a few positive, powerful words like help, or even presupposing the word when. When I'm working on your equipment, or when I'm helping you, or when you're using my product or service. That presupposes either one, results. That's what you're going to create as results. But two, it creates a sense of you working together with them already. So instead of if we're working together, which implies that you may not, you use when. And some dangerous words you want to be aware of now, especially more than ever with quarantine and COVID. First one is hope, H-O-P-E, hope. And it doesn't sound dangerous. However, imagine your doctor saying, I hope I can find what's wrong with you. You probably say, well, I hope you can find another patient. And so people will tend to use the word hope to be humble. I hope you like the food. I hope you're comfortable. However, in business, it creates a mixed message that can derail the confidence in your message, because it implies, in essence, they're not going to like what you're going to do or say. You're hoping they do. So if you say, I hope you like what you heard, it implies that they may probably not like it. You're hoping they do like it. Or I hope you like my proposal. Even though you want to be humble, it implies that they may not like it. So there's that doubt in that message. So instead of saying, I hope you like it, this is my proposal, or you're going to love what you see. So just either keep it direct or embellish it with a positive statement. And so that's one element of the word hope. Another key thing I want to share within the word hope is if your client ever says the word hope, yes, I hope you can do that, or yes, I hope that can be taken care of, or yes, I hope you can sell my home in 30 days, whatever it is. They're implying doubt in you. And so most people, and I've coached them, many of them that I hear when they use the word hope, is they'll say, no, don't worry about it. It'll be okay. And so now with COVID, if someone says, yes, I hope you can do this with all the restrictions and COVID going on, I hope you can really help me. They're doubting that you can do that. So you need to acknowledge that they have a concern. Don't push it aside. Say, yes, it's going to be okay, because you're not acknowledging their emotion. And with rapport and connecting with people, a strong driving element is someone being acknowledged or being significant. And so if you're just not acknowledging them and not acknowledging their emotions, there's that gap there. So one simple phrase I want you to think about, maybe write down, is I understand. So if someone says, I'm concerned about this, say, I understand. Don't say, hey, it's going to be okay. Oh, I hope you can do this. I understand. And then you can ask them a question. What do you need to experience so that you're confident everything's going to be okay? Now they feel heard, and now you're getting feedback from them in regards to what they need to hear or feel based on what's going on in their mind, their COVID, their quarantine, whatever restrictions they have. I just need to know that you're going to follow the right guidelines, or that everything is going to be clean and sterile. Okay, sure. Anything else? And so what do you mean by clean and sterile? So you need to have conversations where you get clarity. And one thing that I really focus on with clients is search to understand. Don't just talk to get a yes or to be understood. Search to understand. Ask them. So tell me some more. What do you mean about that? So one thing's clean and concerned about tell me some more about that. So search to understand, because one is you're creating more rapport. You're asking them, tell me about your concerns. Tell me about yourself, which creates that level of rapport that, hey, someone really wants to know about me, that significance, I'm being acknowledged. And you're getting a lot of great information that other people may have not taken advantage of, knowing that, okay, this is what they need to experience in regards to feeling comfortable to say yes to me. So search to understand. So that's just one. If they say the word hope, acknowledge it, understand, and then get to the point of, okay, so what do you need to experience, or what can I do to make sure everything is okay for you? And another dangerous word, don't, D-O-N apostrophe T, don't. Don't is in a category of words called negation. So if I say, don't think about your car outside wherever it's parked at, you have to make an image of that car, your car, in order to make sense of that. And so if you add an emotional question to that, or emotional statement, then you have to think about that emotion. So now if someone says, I'm worried about COVID, I'm worried about this, and you say, don't worry, they have to think about worrying. And it will have a tendency for that negative emotion to be evoked even more so. Don't get upset. We didn't call you back in 24 hours. Don't be upset, or don't worry. That, again, is creating a train of thought of worrying. And so instead of saying don't worry, think about the positive outcome you have in mind. We didn't call you back in time or within 24 hours. I want you to feel confident we're here for you. We had some delays or some technical equipment problems or whatever it was. So just acknowledge it and avoid saying, don't worry, don't be upset, don't be mad. If you do say that you want to, and you catch yourself, don't be upset. We're quickly shift over. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure you're going to be okay. And part of my training also is in what's called neuroscience, which is a lot of the emotions and how certain words and conversations and questions can evoke emotion. And then right now, if a client that you're having is under a lot of negative stress or emotions because of not only work, it could be because of family or relationships or whatever else is going on. If they're under a lot of stress, the mind shuts down into a survival mode. You're into fight, flight, or freeze. You get very tense and you're not open. So you need to shift their mindset from that negative fight, flight, or freeze into a mindset of possibilities and creating rapport and then guiding them into possibilities. And I won't have time to go into that, but that's part of my conversational selling, that where you start to ask them questions that will give them a sense of, okay, this is possible, or I can do this, versus thinking about all the things that can go wrong and will go wrong and what's going wrong, and their emotions are just bottled up within them. So let me shift into a couple of things on do's and don'ts on video and in regards to creating rapport and things you want to do on video. Before I jump into that, because we're running out of time, anything you need any explanation on, or did that make sense? Was that helpful? Has this been helpful? Just say yes or thumbs up, or okay, good. Because I would love to spend more time with you. I know you have 30 minutes here, so I'm glad you're here. And I think we have, okay, yes, I just noticed the chat section here. Open mine now. Anything that you need any explanation on? Okay, and so let me go into a few do's and don'ts on video. I just did something. I have a cup with a straw. I know someone had a bottle of water, and so be cautious with water, because if you have a bottle of water, you break eye contact. And so if you can, get a cup with a straw, that way you can maintain the eye contact. And right now we have a lot of images with Zoom. Typically, if you're going to be doing one-on-one, there's one box and then another box, and they're bigger. And there's a tendency to look at the person's box when you're talking to them. And what I suggest you do is, it's okay to do that. However, if you want to be impactful with certain messages or certain key elements in your conversation, is they ask you a question, can you do this? And then you're looking at the box, and then at this point, what you want to do is shift up and look at the camera. The camera's on top of your laptop or your computer. And so now you're making physical, emotional eye contact. They were saying, can you really do this? And you look at the camera and say, yes, we can do this. We're here to help you. NLP will help you in many different ways. It'll transform your life. And so whatever it is that you want to present, just look at the camera. At that point, subconsciously, the person is more alert, like, okay, well, they're looking at me, almost as if you're in person. So most people will just look at the screens and miss the opportunity to make contact or make emotional connection by just simply looking at the camera. And so that's one tip. A second is, if you also want to add another element of influence with your body motion, when you're going to say something, as we just talked about, can you really do this? And what you can do is simply lean in very slightly to the camera. Yes. And then as if you're leaning into them. And because, again, more intimate, there's a shift in your body, and you're as if saying something personal to them, almost like I'm going to say a secret. And so just slightly shifting in is also, because don't just sit there and talk, because there's so much more you can add. And one thing you want to be cautious with is your hands. If you start to use your hands a lot, they can be distracting, especially when you have a little box. So if you're going to use your hands, use them to embellish an element or something. You're going to say, I'm going to cover 2 things in this, or 3 things, or things are growing. So you can use your hands as another dimension of communication on video. So the cup is one, making eye contact to the camera. Be aware that that's where right now, if there are a lot of people, it's not as obvious, but if there's only 2 people, then making your eyes shift up can be very influential when you want to make a statement or state something important. And some other don'ts in regards to the hands, something I've seen a lot, because I've been on a lot of Zoom calls all over the world. It was just in one in France, doing one for a client in France for their group. And some people have the tendency, if they use their hands a lot, to extend them. And so be cautious, because when you do this, it feels like you're going to poke somebody in the eye. Your hand gets bigger and bigger. So be aware that your hands can impact the story that you're sharing with everybody. And something else you want to be cautious with is, if you're sitting on a chair, if it swivels, avoid rocking back and forth, swiveling. Some people do that just out of nerves, energy, or sometimes it's a rhythm. They're very, what's called auditory. So they're kind of having a rhythm in their mind. But the viewer picks that up as somebody, I'm watching someone and they're swiveling. Are they stable? Are they nervous? So it doesn't come across that you're just creating a rhythm. It comes across as being nervous or unstable. And this is the same thing I do when I'm coaching clients with public speaking. Some of them some people have a tendency to rock back and forth on their feet. And I say, don't do that, just plant yourself, because now they're getting the impression that you're really not stable or you're nervous. So just plant yourself. Same thing with video. Plant yourself in front of the camera, and then just use your hands to make gestures or embellish. Look at the camera, lean in at times, and then the water, just sip. Those are some key elements. So we're down to the last minute. Anything you need some help with, or need me to clarify, or feedback? I would love feedback, because I get this calibration. What did you like about it? What are you going to be using, or what else would you love? And again, as I mentioned, reach out to me. My website's mikeaguilar.com if you want to know more about me, my coaching, or if you want to take advantage of that free, no cost 30-minute coaching, because we didn't have time here. If you have a specific challenge or you want to know more about NLP and your specific situation, I'm here to help. So anybody else? Yes, Greg, you're unmuted. Nope, you're back muted. It was a whisper of a question.
I was just gonna say I like the positive mindset framework approaching. So that was good.
Yeah. And interesting enough, it impacts people at all levels. I coach CEO, VPs, very successful salespeople, and their mindset. Even I've worked with some real estate agents, and they're selling $1 million homes. However, they have this mindset. I don't know if I can connect with somebody that has a $10 million home. So they already have that doubt in their mind, and that creates procrastination and creates a hesitation if they do call them, and doubt. And so you're going to talk to yourself no matter what. You might as well have a good conversation and make it a positive, motivating conversation. And interesting enough, some clients I'm working with have asked questions about their children and remote learning. And so I'm actually creating a product to help kids, or help parents with their kids in remote learning. Because even the word hope, if you tell your child, I hope you do well in that math test, you're talking in doubt to that child. So the way you talk to the child, the mindset the child has, natural things that child can do that can make learning, even if it's a subject they don't like, fun, playful, and for them to be curious. Because learning doesn't have to happen just reading a book or in front of a computer. Learning happens just throughout our journey in life. And so if you can add elements in regards to learning certain topics, even for yourself, even for me, these are techniques that I've used myself personally and with clients that I've coached in regards to understanding, learning, or having creative solutions. So I'll share with you one creative thought. A question you want to ask yourself when you're having a challenge, or when you're wanting to get to the next level. And I suggest don't create a to-do list. Instead, create a priority list. The to-dos will fill in the priorities. So what's the priorities that you need to do today? However, when you're getting into that priority list, a question you can ask yourself that very engaging to the subconscious mind for solution thinking is the statement of, what else can I do? And then you fill in the blank. So what else can I do to get a client today? What else can I do to attract more clients to me? What else can I do to get more visibility, to build my membership, to get more yeses? What else can I do? So when you ask yourself that question, you're asking your mind to search for a solution. Instead of a bad question would be, why am I struggling? Why am I not getting the clients that I want? Your mind will only justify and say, oh, it's my age, my background, my education, it's COVID, whatever it is. If you ask yourself a solution-based question, what else can I do? And you fill in the blank, your mind starts to search at that moment, or later on, you'll come up with an idea. And at that point, it'll just flash in your mind, or you'll get an inspiration. And you might get some ideas at that point. So let me see, I have some. Okay, there are other words besides hope and don't that people want to avoid. I won't have time to go into that. However, these are some of them I wanted to cover. Thank you, Nicole.
I also heard that, Mike, this is Pauline,
Yes.
if you're talking with like a smile on your face, somehow that goes through the phone. You know, it's received on the other end that you're up, you know, in that conversation.
I'll add to
Yes.
that too. I mean, you have the opportunity to see your own image in Zoom, right? That you should have that up, and it's not a vanity thing. It's really just a check on yourself to make sure your face is animated, that you are smiling. I think that's a good tool to use as long as you're going to use Zoom.
Yes, yes, and I was actually coaching a client to do videos, and one suggestion for those that want to do videos or camera shy, one technique this is something that I do is when I do a video, and if you're going to be doing the videos, when you do videos, just imagine you're videotaping to a friend, a good friend, because most people think, okay, it has to be perfect. This has to be done as if they're performing. But if you're thinking about videotaping to a friend, hey, I want to share with you what's going on, and this is some updates. And I've been doing right now a lot of what's called content, meaning a tip here, tip there, and then posting it on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter just to get the message out there. And so if you can post videos or tips, then do that. And you don't have to be on the video. You can just be your voice. But if you are, yes, smile. And when I coached that client, one thing I said, when you greet people, hi, I said, smile. Start off with a smile. Because okay, hello, this is, and then he would be very serious. I said, smile. He says, hi, this is Mike, or whatever it is. And then end off with a smile, because people will remember the beginning of a conversation or presentation, and they'll remember the end. So if you make them feel good at the beginning, you talk about some benefits, and then the end off with a smile or some summary, then it becomes very memorable. And yes, with a smile, they can sense it over the phone, but in person, that's what are called mirror neurons, meaning if you smile, they see the smile and they have to process that, and they kind of smile within. And so it's mirror neurons. And one thing that I just posted recently is with our mask on, people can't see your smile. Right. However, an authentic smile is when your eyes are squinted a little bit. So when you're smiling to somebody, walking through a store or the cashier, make sure that you think about engaging your eyes, squinting them, and saying, hi, thank you, and then nodding your head to acknowledge them. And something else I'll share with you with the mask on, to be more, I guess, understood, use and pay attention to consonants, meaning there's a vowel, A-E-I-O-U, and those are soft. Consonants are the other 21, like important, the T, important. This is important to me. So that way they can hear the distinction even with the mask on, so that you're understood correctly. And you might have to slow down and pause. And that's also another voice pattern that I talk about in regards to the value and importance of pausing, so people can process what you're saying. So yeah, thank you, Pauline, with the smile, and then with the mask on, smile, make sure your eyes are included, and just nod down to acknowledge people.
Right. Yeah. So this was wonderful, Mike. I do have to wrap it up.
Yes.
For a few minutes after, and thank you everybody for participating. Who's at the phone number that ends in 0900? I just want to record who joined us today.
That's a secret guest.
Yes, I'm wary of secret guests because I've been hacked before on these calls, and it wasn't pleasant.
Okay, well,
oh, okay, it was Fast Science number. Okay, great. Thank you,
okay.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex, for joining.
One other thing I want to share with everyone. I don't know if you have the San Mateo Facebook. I saw the fast signs with Aurora on Facebook. Use it also as a way to ask for business, meaning not necessarily for yourself, but hey, I'm looking for a good tree cutter trimmer, or hey, I'm looking for someone that does signs. That way you're using the power of Facebook and the chamber, and to help other businesses or help yourself by just collaborating together. Don't just post what you're doing. If you know someone that needs help, post it. Because right now I know somebody that needs help with double pane windows. So if anyone on the site knows someone that has double pane windows service, and reach out to me, and I'll continue the conversation that way. So I just wanted to share that in regards to marketing, and do videos. Just videotape as much as you can. Go to a restaurant, videotape the owner, post it on there in San Mateo. This is my favorite restaurant in San Mateo. People are looking for ways of getting acknowledged, and that's the way for you to also to get acknowledged. It's a little marketing tip there as well. So I'll end it off with that, and I just want to say thank you, everybody, and I'm here to help. And reach out to me if you'd like to have a quick 30-minute conversation. We'll just schedule it in, and we'll continue the conversation.